Everybody, welcome to Clayton Art Club. I'm just going to bear with me. Oh god, got it lodged underneath my chair as well. Sorry about this. And I think we're in focus. Good stuff. Right, welcome to the stream. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you're still welcome. Got two people watching at the moment. So last week I asked what you'd like me to sculpt next, and Matthew suggested a dinosaur, which I like the idea of that. So today we're going to be sculpting a T-Rex. Let me just get it into focus, and then I'll turn the focus off, so that's better. Otherwise it'll be looking for focus and it'll be annoying. So I'm just warming up the clay as we speak. Let me know in the comments if it looks alright, if it's coming through okay. Just see if I can read the comments. Are they coming through? So we've got Nick saying good morning, and who else has said hi? Let me just see. Oh yeah, Kizzy Brown. Okay, groovy. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Hope the stream's looking alright. You drop frames on the stream, but hopefully it will look alright. I'm just literally warming up the clay. If it gets really bad, just let me know in the comments and I will switch over to my backup option, which will hopefully be a bit better. Actually warming up my clay. I'm going to use green today. I have got some orange and some blue, so I thought a blue tongue and yellow teeth, orange teeth might be appropriate. If you guys want to see what turn the light up. And the week before we did the Egyptian. So there we go. Put them out of the way. So what we're using today is newplast, which is like a kind of modeller's plaster. It's quite good. It's about £3 for a block like that on Amazon, and I've got a couple of tools. I'll show you my tools. I've got a spiky tool. Hi Matthew. Matthew's just popped on as well. You can't see his name, but yeah. Got a nice curvy tool like this. Tool like this. Tool like this. Got like a blade tool. Got like a tool like that, and a cutter gouger tool, which is good for taking out chunks. Got another spiky tool and a little curvy tool, and then I've got like a little gouger. If you want a tip for getting good sculpting, I suggest if you want cheap ones, I would go to Morrison's or somewhere like that. Making tools, like icing tools, because they're pretty much the same. They're made of plastic. Bear with me. And they're a bit like this, and they're cheap as chips, and they're quite good. So, right. Again, if there's any problem with the stream, let me know, and I'll do my backup option. I don't know why the internet isn't working, but it seems to be a recurring problem. So, I'm just going to get on with it. Which I'm going to use for the spine, and imagine the head being here, and then the body here, and then the beginning of the tail happening here. If you imagine something like this. Okay. It's going to look cooler than that. And I might just focus on the head today and see how we get on. So my hands are already turning a bit green. So I'll try and do it in a In fact, I might even zoom in so you can see a bit more of what I'm doing. This is going to be the top part of the mouth, so I'm doing two hands so that I can do shape it symmetrically. I want that to be squidged on quite nicely, quite firm. Might push it in a bit more. Sorry about the banging sound. Start by sculpting the main head. Just going to double check the focus a minute. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like the nose, and there's going to be a kind of, ooh, I've done that wrong. The cutout needs to be this shape, and then we're going to have the eyes coming up here, and we want to do that on. Sorry about that banging sound. My boys are in the garden clearing up after the wind and everything, so they like to knock on the door to try and sneak in the back door. I'm going to try and do a kind of cavity in the and at the moment I'm just getting the basic shapes of the mouth. This kind of ripply effect that happens here. Want the nose to be a bit more stubby but still quite liking how it looks. The eyes are going to be here and here, so I'm going to rip off some of this, and if you roll it this way direction you get a nice sausage. If you wanted a ball in a circular motion, and you'd get a ball. So a little tip for you. At the moment I want to start with. I'm going to squish it. Looks a bit like a ram at the moment, but I think when we put the bottom jaw on it will look a bit better. And let me know in the comments if you're well at the same time, or if you're watching, or if you're drawing instead. I'd love to know what you guys are up to with your art as well. Or in. I think you've got three watching at the moment, but some people might be watching a bit later or catching up at a later. It's all good. Some people might be joining us from YouTube. I haven't seen any comments from YouTube yet, but that's okay. It's there. Who's drawing? Someone just said they're drawing. Who's drawing? Oh, Kizzy. Is it Kizzy? Or is that your mum's account? Pushing this in anyway. Are you drawing a T-Rex, or are you drawing a T-Rex, or are you drawing? You don't have to draw what I'm doing, but you can as well. I'm going to fill in that back area as well with the back of the head. Oh, that banging sound is annoying. I might do the neck bit later. will start adding a lot of. So I'm going to work on the now, and I want a kind of a Y shape, and that's going to be the kind of the jawline. So I'm getting this kind of Y shape, and trying to make it slightly even on both sides. And just like a skeleton skull, I'm going to slot it into place and then just... Oh, Sazzy. Okay, I'm probably saying that wrong. Sazzy? Sassy? I'm probably saying that wrong. Sazzy? Sassy? I'm probably saying that wrong. Sazzy? Sassy? Probably saying your name wrong there. But it's lovely to have you guys. So when you... I mean, with more teeth and stuff, it'll look a bit better, but I'm going to add some like nice gums and that kind of thing. But you can almost see how from the skull organically. And I will shape this to be a bit more pronounced, I think. But to start with, I mean, how many minutes are we into this stream? We're 15 minutes in and we've already got this far, which I think is pretty good. I don't know what you guys think. Adding a bit more material behind, and I'm not sure if I'll leave this flexible or not yet. I might decide on a pose soon, or I might just have it slightly open. What do you guys think? Open or I think open would look cooler, but I think to start with sculpting is using your fingers mostly, and if this was the if you were drawing, this would be your kind of rough stage, your pencil drawing if you will, before you decide to add ink, which is more about blending this in. I think you guys are happy with the pose being open, I think, and I might gouge out some of this material to replace with orange so that we've got a kind of open mouth, just kind of getting in there and blending in the material a little bit. I'm going to add a bit of Adam's apple, if you know what I mean, because he's just eaten Adam the caveman. Just blending that in to add material below. I want to do some blending here as well. Just pushing material down from the area where I don't want as much material into this area where it's as I sculpt. A bit like with video editing. Some films are good and you take away things when you cut it down in a film, and other ones where you add more footage. I don't know why I'm liking this to video editing. I don't know. So anyway, that's how the mouse looks at the moment. We're going to add more gums, more teeth, more panaz. But at the moment, I think it's looking alright. Looking blurred on my screen. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I meant to adjust the focus then, and I turned the camera off instead because I'm a plonker. That should be a little bit better on the focus side. Apologies for that. And the cool thing about this is, a bit, and it's already perfectly like a sausage. so I can add more attitude, and even on the top you can follow those ridges. I mean this is a but it'll be of my own. It'll have my own pinnazz to it. And I did get this clay across from my art room, which is in the cold, but I took it over last night so that it had a chance to get to room temperature. And I think temperature does affect your clay, your plasticine. So if you're doing this in a cold room or in a cold day, it can slow you down getting your clay to cooperate. On this kind of plasticine on a radiator, if you want it to get really soft, but obviously too soft and it gets a bit squidgy, and a little bit of a little bit of hardness, so that it's not. I'm gonna add a bit more around there. To me, that's adding quite a lot of character to this, so I'm just working it in. I was just saying maybe open, that's good, because I've decided to do that myself, so great minds think alike. I will start using the tools later on, but I think for sculpting, part of it is feeling it and kind of doing two hands sculpting, not just is good, especially for symmetricalness. Trying to get that kind of squarish look, and I'm going to soften that, I think, because this is slightly my problem, is this is a bit that I haven't softened, so I'm going to soften this with this hand and just sculpt with one hand, but not push too hard because I don't want to squish it on the hard surface and remove all that kind of good detail that I've already added. And I'll show you some tips for texturing as well. So this tool particularly has a kind of cross hatch effect here, and if you rub it down your in my hands, even just holding it and squeezing it, let's get some sausages going. Just blending it in, but not too much, so that those bolt. So I'm just bulking it in, and what that does is you blend it in so it looks nice and organic, but underneath you can see that there's kind of like a ridge there for some reason, and on organic things that could be like a nasal cavity or something like that. So when you add lumps and bumps, as long as you do it kind of a little bit symmetrical, you can really emulate the form of what you're trying to make. I guess. Agios. So I'm going to do the same on this one as well. I've got a little picture of a T-Rex. The one I'm actually looking at is actually a picture of a toy, so I'm just using it mostly for the overall form. I'm going to add my own detail, my own style to it, but you can look at any pictures you want, as long as but just like using forms and frames and postures and things, you know. I'm quite liking how this is looking. This isn't a full-size one like Jurassic Park guys do, but and then they have to mould them and make them into giant Jurassic Parky animatronics and things. And in the original one, they had to film it behind the rain because they'd made this rain machine, but their actual robot T-Rex couldn't get wet, so they had to build it. They had to basically put the rain like here, and then they made it look like it was in the rain, if that makes sense. So it's kind of looking good. If you imagine a head coming down there, which we'll work on in a bit. I think the interesting part. So I'm just going to start just adding in some of those areas, and I was going to do the eye in a different color, which I think I still will. I'm not going to do got the area around it kind of to my liking at least a bit more, because I don't want to add a different color plasticine then start bothering the areas around it, because you end up with the plasticine kind of smidging into each other a bit, so you kind of want to keep the colours separate a bit. So I'm just taking bits off a little bit where I feel it. Even these repetitive movements are and I want to kind of take some material out of there as well. What do you guys looking T-Rexy, or is it looking a bit more like something else? Quiet, I'm afraid. I was concentrating and enjoying myself, I guess, which is, I think, why some people sculpt. Is very relaxing. And again, with sculpting, a bit like drawing sometimes, if you're on a good drawing and you're enjoying yourself, you can lose yourself for hours. A bit more on this side, so I'm kind of looking at both. take a bit of material out and just start squidging that down. Just checking my comments. Don't know if this jaw needs to be a bit thicker or not. On the end a bit. So Nick and Matthew, last time you did a pretty awesome Viking sculpt, just like we did on here, and it was really cool. So I just wonder if you guys are doing the same this week or not. I'm guessing you are, but I don't know. Add a bit of a nose. Just using this gouging tool to kind of Emma's doing it. Cool. I'm just buffing this out with my finger now. Just want to buff out those, and I've accidentally buffed the nose a bit. Just gonna want those eyes to go in, those nose to go in, so you can really get a sense of it. Get a bit of a ridge on the nose. Quite like that nose, but the nostrils anyway look a bit bizarre, so you should slope up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. So I don't know if you've ever seen the dinosaur Dippy. It's like a skeleton that you can go and visit. It was over in Rochdale or somewhere recently. Not recently, maybe a year or two ago. We took our boys. The nose pipes going up the body or shape of the skull, and Dippy had a particular. Well, the protrusion on the top of his head had pipes going to it, and you wondered if it was some kind of horn on its head, or kind of horn as in noise-making horn. If they used to make a noise by blowing air through the top of their... I don't know. I'm liking how... I think when they come alive, and when we add some different colours... I'm adding some grooves here onto the lip. Are we in focus? Are we in focus? I think we are. Just going to smooth them out. I'm going to add those side bits of flesh that films like to put in. Whether they're or not, I don't know, but just adding them in here. Just blending the material on the inside as well. I have a big rolling tongue in a minute, which should look quite cool. Just reaffirming that line that about silly pen. Just want to add, maybe I need bigger ones, I don't know. So I'm getting a ball, squishing to make that part, and then just using this tool to blend the material, to fix it, to blend it, to make it one piece, if you know what I mean. Squidge it and pinch it at one end, so don't know if that's looking cool or not. I think it's okay to start putting the tongue in. I was going to go for a blue tongue and orange teeth, so I'm going to warm up the blue. It's going to come to a point. It's going to come to a point. Use this sharp tool here to add that ridge down the middle of the tongue. I just want to chop the end off because it's slightly too long. Once we add the teeth and the other things, I think that will be, I'll give that a bit of a fatter back. It's going down the throat, even though it isn't. And I'm just going to do a little bit of blending outside so it stays where it's supposed to, but not too much, because I want it to look like a separate piece. And that arch in the tongue as well, the curl at the front. How are we doing for time? 44 minutes to this. I'm turning out. That's not super secure in there, but at the moment I don't mind it not being super secure because I want to move it without leaving any bit or anything like that. So I think eyes and teeth maybe. So what I'm going to do is just really start working on this area with this really sharp pointy I want to get that kind of maybe flatten this a bit. So what I'm doing is I'm using this flat edge, a bit like a rock, just to neaten off some areas. It's actually quite a good tool. You can use a rock if you want. What it does is it just uniformly flattens it and smoothens it. a bit. And I want to use this tool, which is kind of like, I don't know what you'd describe it as, a trowel, smoothing that ridge. Because what I want to do is when I hold it like this, it casts, excuse me, it's going to cast a kind of shadow over the eyes, which makes him look more groovy. And I'm just going to work out where I'm going to put his eyes. I'm going to gouge out that area. I'm going to add it back again, but I also want to add the kind of under bit of the eye is going to be. I'm gonna yet. Are you guys still here? Still having fun? Hopefully the stream is watchable still. This is where the eye's gonna be. This is where the eye's gonna be. This is where the eye's gonna be. And these are gonna be like so I do want to size a bit. So what I can do is I can put my rolling pin in, rolling pin in, rolling pin in, on its end. And honestly, you can use the tools however you wish, really. Just the way I find it's useful. So actually that's nicely smoothed that out. Got a bit of orange on there, which I didn't want. I'm going to put his eye in. I'm going to put a tiny speck of blue in the middle, but I'm going to this hole needs to use this gouging tool. And it needs to be a bit bigger, even still, so make it a bit bigger. And then the material left over, I'm just gonna shave eyelid very carefully. And the same below. Use this sharp tool to kind of really separate the green from the orange. I'm doing some quite deep to make dark. As you can see, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to do the same here. This, I want to call it a boat tool to just smoothen off. Make it look more intentional. Some of that. Oh, okay. Nick and Matthew, cool. I'm liking how this is looking actually. To do that on the other side, and I don't know if it'll look as good, but I should be able to. Apologies, I've gone quiet again. Now I'm going to gouge out the eye again. Just going to very lightly take out some excess to make it a bit smoother. And what's really hard with these kind of builds is because the X is a very left side and right side kind of face, unlike a person where both forward, so you can do them both at the same time. So it's quite hard to do the same thing on both sides. I mean, it's possible, obviously, it's just a little bit harder in places. So use this rolling pin effect again, just to neaten this area. Looks good, I think. So, looking at the other ball, the other eye. Trying to make one of a similar size. Gonna jab it, make that cavity a bit open so it looks nice. Pops, pops, pop. See how it fits. Needs to be a bit bigger, not a problem. Nope. Gonna make my eye a little bit smaller, I think. Try not to get too much green on for my fingers. Right, that's right. That's a mishmash of horrible colours there, so I'm going to make another eye that isn't half green, because so that's good. And I just need a bit of green here and there to just fill in those gaps, so I'm just going to nick a few of these crumbs that I've had lying around and just squidge them in with the sharp blade, with the pointy one, and just some very fine eyelids. So you roll a very fine like that, and I'm just going to put it above. And I'm just going to do the under bit of the eye as well. Hello Tyler, I'm doing my live stream, can you go up please? Oh, is it done already?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I'm just going to work on of the... Right, we're almost out of time as well. God, I'm having fun. Taking a bit of time though, isn't it? If you guys are happy, I'm happy to run over a little bit. Give you a bit of extra time if you're enjoying yourself. I'll just show you what I would do with the teeth. So I'm going to do loads of teeth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a sausage like that, and then I'm going to flatten it. And then I don't know if this will work. I think I squished it onto the table a bit too much. Oh, it's come off kind of okay. Tooth, a bit of a pinch just to get it shapely again. This isn't the optimum way of making teeth. If I wasn't in a rush, I'd probably make them individually, or even use them, like get a bit of plastic bottle or something. Oh, his tongue's... never mind. We kind of want his tongue out of it for a bit, so... Not quite ideal really. I'm going to make the teeth a bit thicker, 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 and I might shape them in the mouth. So the way I do that is I'm going to get the material, I'm going to put it where I want the teeth to be, like this. I'm going to have to start being quite careful because so instead I'm going to push up into them. I'll start by pushing the gums up first as well. And I'm going to push each tooth in. Not the best teeth I've done, I must say, but if we do a few more, I may even make some proper teeth. Do it properly, Luke, do it properly. I'm going to make 2 at a time, 1 for each side. Squish him in. There's a bit of green on those teeth, but kind of past that stage. Definitely looking toothier, and the teeth on the bottom are a bit less of a feature, but they're still there, so I don't know. Feel free to tell me what you think so far. Okay, so I'm going to do the bottom teeth now. And then I'm going to do a line, sorry it's not in view, around and then I'm just going to go around the edge. And then we'll re-add the tongue back in. God, I've got some purple, some of the other colours where I don't want them, so I'm just going to pick those out. Pick his nose. And there we are, guys. Check it out. Wish I had a sound effect right now that I could use to imitate the kind of growl of the dino. Just gonna squidge the teeth around a bit, make them look a bit more pointy and menacing, but it's not too bad for an hour. What do you guys think? Neaten up some areas. Cool, guys. I'm happy with that. I haven't done the rest of the dinosaur, but if you imagine the rest coming down here like that. Oh, his tongue's fallen out again. Made me jump. Lines just in places just to strengthen the aesthetic. That sounds like a big word, doesn't it? I don't even know what it means. To make it look cooler. Cool, huh? Right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed myself a lot. I hope you have too. I hope you guys have made something really cool as well that you're really happy with. And I will see you guys next time at 10 a.m. We'll do another live stream. Maybe sculpture, maybe something else. Drop me some comments saying if you want certain things, or we can join the sculpting series so we can